What's happening, guys? Heavy Heart here today with another lesson, and this time we are going to be delving into some melodic minor concepts. We will kind of just touch on the modes a little bit today. We'll just give you an idea of how that kind of works. This is going to be influenced, This is going to be influenced mostly by Nick Johnston, Aaron Marshall of Intervals, and even Plini, like all these Owain, all these modern prog rock, prog metal guys use these concepts, this mode, this set of scales, the melodic minor scale, to kind of spice it up a bit, add a little bit of dissonance to their mostly consonant compositions and melodies and playing and stuff like that. So we're going to get into that, and I'll show you what it is. Let's go. Woo! Come on, move, baby, move. Oh yeah, look at that tricep, baby. Boom. All right, guys, let's get into it. So we're actually going to go over the section from Intervals Sure Shot. Okay, I actually cover this on my channel. Link below in the description if you want to check it out. I also put this up on another video from way back when at the end of the video. But I'm going to play it again for you today. It's the clean section kind of towards the middle, and this utilizes this melodic minor concept, okay, in this chord progression, in this chord run. We're in the key of D major. Nice D major 7 there to start off with, all right? And we'll go over a couple concepts that relate to this kind of this section of the song. All right, so we're starting on D major. I'm just taking this major 7 shape right here, 5th fret on the A, 4th fret on the D, 6th fret on the G. And he plays the open B and E strings along with it for those colors. The B and the E are the color tones for D. The open B is the major 6, all right, and then the open E is the major 9. Okay, so altogether we have root, major 3rd, major 7, major 6, major 9. And how he plays that, he just goes down the string, kind of. So he goes A, D, G, and then skips E, B, G, up. Just like that. Alright, and then he goes to a type of A major chord. This is really what it is. He doubles the B string. Okay, that's all A major and A major 9. So I have my pinky on the 7th fret on the D and then 4th fret on the G, and I'm hitting the open B with it. So it's a double B, B, B. It's actually a triple B. Slide up, get that. There's your A major. But then he goes here. He does an F note, which creates an F augmented chord. So this is our first glimpse at the melodic minor scale, the melodic minor mode, or the melodic minor sound, the vibe in this section. That's the first one. It only lasts for 2 beats, so that goes, and then it resolves. All right, so that F augmented chord, the F note, this note, is the minor 3rd of D. But if you remember, we started, our key is actually D major, which is a major 3rd, which is an F sharp. But here we go to an F natural. So we go from to this. Remember that, okay? The one chord goes from major to minor. Just like that, all right? So, and then he goes to an F sharp minor chord. It's just a regular triad, but with the open strings again, right? Same kind of pattern from the D. Alright? 9 on the A, 7 on the D, 6 on the G with the open strings. Okay? And then he goes to an A. He just moves that down. The other fingers stay. So it goes. Again, the A major 9 with the open strings. The last note is 4th fret on the A to lead back into our D major 7. We played the same way as before, so that all goes. Now the second time around, it loops at the D major. The second time we don't go here though, we actually go an A sus to an A major, okay? So nothing crazy there. It's just the last two notes are different. Slide from 3 to 2 on the B, all right? And that brings us to this nice chord, which is another F sharp minor 9 chord. So it's 4 on the D, 2 on the G, open B, 4 on the E. Something like that, all right? And then the last chord is, this is our melodic minor chord at the end as well. So it's gonna be, make a little diagonal without your pointer finger, 3 on the D, 4 on the G, 5 on the B, and then 2 on the bottom, all right? Kind of a weird chord, but I'll show you why it works, all right? And what it really is, all right? So you can actually bar the bottom too. We're gonna go like this. All right. So we get these 2 chord voicings, and then it's a dominant chord. All right, I'm going to show you why that works. So all together, or play all together. I botched the end there. Anyways, you get the idea. All right, so our first, let's go back to this F augmented chord, right? So, all right, so this, like I said before, that F is the minor third of D, okay? So we go from D major to D minor, all right? But we're gonna keep that major 7 there. Just move that third down to from the major third to the flat third. Everything else stays. All right, you're making the 1 chord major to minor. That's it. That's really all you have to think about. And the only note you're changing in the scale as well is that 1 note from the major third to the minor third. Every other note is the same. So if you play the D major scale, D Ionian, you literally just play everything the same, but the third. You just flat the third one. Everything else stays. So instead of this, you got this. It's kind of a hybrid between major and minor. Okay, that's literally what it is, and it gives us that chord. It's a major minor chord, that's what you call it, with a major 7 and a minor third, major minor. D major minor 7. You can even put the, you actually get the open, actually yeah, you can get the open strings with that minor third there too, so. That's a really good sound for the melodic minor. You have the major 6. All right, let's not go there yet. So, regular minor scale on D, so D minor, it has a major 2nd, a flat 3rd, the perfect fourth, perfect fifth, flat six, flat seven. All right, so we have three flats, flat three, flat six, and flat seven. For a melodic minor, only the third is flat. So for melodic minor, you have major second, flat three, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major six, major seven. All right, so you can go between those two. Jazzy too, okay? So that's really all that's doing. And that augmented chord, that F augmented chord gives you the notes. In relation to D, you have the flat three, the perfect fifth, and the major seven. There you go, and then it repeats. Everything just repeats. The augmented chord is only 3 notes, and then it repeats forever. All right, so we have the flat three, the perfect fifth, and the major seven. So there's your melodic minor outlined as a F augmented chord. Which you can play it as that as well. There's some really good voicings that give you that melodic minor sound. It's basically a hybrid between minor and augmented. Right? It's almost kind of like a dominant chord as well. So that's the first iteration of that. All you're doing is flatting the third for D, okay? And you even play the scale. The melodic minor scale is an Ionian flat 3. So the melodic minor scale, you can think of it as a major scale with a flat 3. Just flat that, everything else is the same. It's got a very weird, like off-balance sound because it's actually got a lot of whole tones. It almost creates a whole tone scale within itself, but it's only missing 1 note. 4, 5. It's like a pentatonic whole tone scale, but the whole tone scale is really 6 notes, and that's where it deviates, so that's where it changes. So it's almost a whole tone scale. When you get to either side of that whole tone scale, from flat 3 to the major 7, you get a half step, and that gives you a more melodic kind of scale, all right? So you could also play D melodic minor scale over F augmented, C sharp augmented, and A augmented, because those are all the same chords. It just repeats forever. So any of those augmented chords you can play D melodic minor over. If you want to listen to augmented chords and augmented theory, augmented scales, leave a comment below. Let me know if you want that. Because it's one of my favorite scales and it's really cool. You get like... You know, those really cool sounds. They're very dark, but kind of pretty in a sense. All right, so that's the first melodic minor example from that section. And then the last chord, we're just going to jump right there. Everything else is diatonic. So you're doing 1, 5, flat 3 augmented, major flat 3 augmented, okay, which is, or just a minor 1. You can think of it as a minor 1 as well. So major 1, 5, minor 1, and then 3, the 3 chord. It's an A over E, which is another 5 chord. It's just a passing tone. Back to 1, major 1, and then same chord, A, 5, okay, and then 3 again with this F sharp minor, and then this chord at the end. Alright, now this is kind of a funny chord, and it's hard to really tell what it is. So none of these notes at first are the root. That is actually the root of this chord. It's actually the last note that you played. The bassist might actually be playing this as the bass note, but I'm not really sure about that. So it's really a C sharp dominant chord. But it's more than just a dominant chord, all right? But first, if our D is our 1, our 7 should be should be diminished or half diminished. It should really be half diminished. That's like the diatonic chord in the major diatonic scale. Okay? So it should be C sharp half diminished, but we're playing a C sharp dominant. Major third, flat 3, root. And then these are some colors. We're not gonna worry about that just yet, okay? But that's what it is. It's C sharp dominant 7 chord, okay, as his bass. So he's already switching that chord, so he's going to a different mode because of that. So instead of doing half diminished, it's dominant, so now we're going to another scale, all right? And the notes that you play in relation to C sharp are major third, flat 7, sharp 9, perfect 4th, root, all right? Which spells this chord. Come on, get it! Nope, not happening. That's also known as the Hendrix chord. All right? So, C sharp dominant chord. That means we get a Mixolydian scale. But it's not just a Mixolydian scale. We're actually going to play a different scale. So, this is melodic minor in relation to D. Alright, so what we're actually going to play is the altered scale. The altered scale actually goes like this. Okay, that's the sound, and with that scale you have the flat 9, the sharp 9, there's our sharp 9, the major third, alright, the perfect 4, actually, this is sharp 4, but we're gonna, that doesn't really matter right here, okay, so, okay, and then sharp 5, flat 7, alright. So this is actually, that scale, the altered scale is a mode of the D melodic minor scale. All right, so the D melodic minor. If you play the same note starting from a half step below, which is a C sharp, you get the same notes. So that's that. So that's what you would play over this. It could also be kind of looked at as like a G, the tritone sub. The G 7 sharp 11. All right. Which really what you would play for that is G Mixolydian sharp 11. I think that's really what you would probably prefer to play over this, but you can play the C sharp altered scale as well. It's only that 4th that is different, really, and the 5th, I guess. So, because if you play the G Mixolydian sharp 4 scale, you get the perfect 4th in relation to D, perfect 4th, perfect 5th, major 6, major 7, root, major 9, flat 3. Okay, so that actually spells out the melodic minor scale. So you actually have 2 different scales to choose from for this chord. Right? A lot of times it's easier just to think D melodic minor, major to minor, something like that. So that's what you would play, an example of how to utilize a melodic minor scale and its modes and its chords in order to create some dissonance within your chord progression, your scale. And that chord, it voice leads back nicely into the D, because that repeats. Same thing if you did C sharp augmented, which is also F augmented. You resolution. It sounds really good, okay? All right, this lesson has been going on quite a while, but that's an introduction to the melodic minor scale and its modes and its chords that go along with it in relation to D major from interval song Sure Shot. Boom! All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that melodic minor introduction from intervals song Sure Shot. I'm gonna leave a link in the description for my cover of that, and you can see that in action, in context. And if you have any more questions, or if you want private lessons on this, I do teach. So leave a comment and hit me up, DM, whatever, it's all good, all right? So practice, go on YouTube, type in D drone, D tempora, something like that, or D backing track, something like that, just the D note though. And practice your D Ionian to D melodic minor. Sound in your ears about what that really sounds like and what it could be used for. Just remember two concepts. I think it's only two. The one chord, wherever you start from, if it's major at first, just make it minor. But only drop the third. Everything else in that chord is the same. Whatever kind of major chord you play, it doesn't matter. Any kind of chord. It's like, as long as it's got a perfect fourth or whatever, it's Ionian. You can play something like that. Play the same thing, just flat the three. So I'm just gonna flat. Just gonna do that, so that gives us this. So I kept every note the same except for that third. I just dropped the third a half step and then boom, you got melodic minor. There you go. And if you have your one chord, if you also want to do melodic minor, but you don't want to just stay on the one chord, go down a half step to C sharp or whatever, and then play it down in chord. There you go. All right, that's another kind of cool trick. Another one, you can play that half step down as augmented, and you can play the flat third of that one chord, play an augmented chord there. Those are all different options, very simple options, very easy ways to find and create that melodic minor tension, that vibe, whatever you want to do, all right? And it really spices up a section in a composition or a song. If you're, that whole section there is mostly pretty chords. Right, very pretty. So let's spice it up at the end. It's also really good for voice leading. Right, you get that voice leading there too. So let me know if this helped you, if you benefited from this. I want to see how you utilize these concepts in your own playing. Tag me on Instagram at jhartguitar, and I hope to hear and see from you guys soon. Leave a comment, let me know what you thought of this lesson. If you want to see more, if you want to see a lesson on augmented stuff, whatever else you want to see, leave a comment, and I'll see you next time. All right, guys. Peace!